Today we're diving deep into what this test is, who passes it, who doesn't, and whether you can bring your beloved folks to the land of Vegemite and magpies. Let's make it crystal clear with just a light sprinkle of humor and no big academic words that require a dictionary on standby. So, what exactly is the family balance test? The family balance test is one of the main criteria used by the Australian government when a parent applies for permanent residency under the parent visa streams. It's their way of saying, are most of your family roots now planted here in Australia? In a nutshell, it's about checking if a parent has more children living permanently in Australia than living elsewhere. Sounds simple? It is. But let's untangle it further so there's no confusion. How does the family balance test actually work? The test looks at all the children of the parent or parents, biological, adopted, and even stepchildren, as long as they are legally recognized. Each child counts as one regardless of age, employment status, or how good they are at calling their parents regularly. Now the key rule. To pass the test, at least half of your children must be living permanently in Australia. Or more of your children must be living permanently in Australia than in any other single country. Let's break that down with simple examples. Example 1. The perfect split. Let's say mom and dad have 4 children. 2 of them are citizens or permanent residents living in Australia. The other 2 live overseas, maybe in Sri Lanka, India, or somewhere with a reliable power supply and homemade curry. Result: half are in Australia. All good. Example 2. Uneven but balanced parents have 3 children. 1 lives in Australia as a citizen or PR. 2 live in the home country. Result: fail. 1 out of 3 is not half or more. Example 3. 1 is enough. Parents have only 1 child. That child is a citizen or PR living in Australia. Result: 1 out of 1 is 100%. The maths is beautiful. Example 4. More here than anywhere else. Parents have 5 children. 2 are in Australia. 1 lives in Canada. 1 lives in New Zealand. 1 lives in the UK. Result: more kids in Australia than in any one other country. The Australian government counts each country separately, not all overseas kids as a gang. What types of children are counted in this test? Great question. Because this isn't about which kid is your favorite, but whether they're eligible to be counted. Children who are citizens or permanent residents of Australia. Children holding eligible New Zealand citizenship and permanently residing in Australia. Stepchildren if the relationship is legally recognized and ongoing. Not counted. Children who are in Australia on a temporary visa. Children who have moved back overseas permanently. Estranged children. So no, your second cousin who came for a working holiday doesn't count even if he says, "Mate, I'm like family." Is it okay if only 1 child is in Australia and the others are overseas? It depends. If the parent has only 1 child and that child lives in Australia as a PR or citizen, that's a clear pass. If the parent has 2 children, 1 is here permanently, the other is overseas, that's 1 out of 2, which is exactly 50%. Australia's math checks out. Half or more equals pass. But what if there are more kids and it's complicated? Yes, some families are bigger and messier than a Bunnings sausage sizzle queue. If your parents have, say, 6 kids. 2 in Australia. 2 in the US. 2 in India. None of the groups dominates. Result: fail. No majority in Australia or anywhere. It's a tie. Australia doesn't like ties. But if it's 3 in Australia, 2 in India, 1 in Canada, pass. More in Australia than anywhere else. What happens if you fail the family balance test? Unfortunately, if your parents don't pass this test, they can't apply for the standard parent visas like contributory parent visa, parent visa. These visas require the test to be passed. No exceptions. Not even if you bake lamingtons and beg immigration with a Tim Tam gift basket. But there are still a few options. If they don't pass the balance test but want to stay in Australia longer, they could consider temporary visitor visas, or the temporary parent visa, which lets them stay for up to 3 or 5 years at a time, but doesn't lead to PR. Downside: those don't offer Medicare and they don't lead to permanent residency. Still better than nothing. Does the government make exceptions? Like, ever? Not really. The family balance test is a hard rule. You can't talk your way around it, and even a heartfelt letter saying, My mum makes the best biryani in Brisbane won't cut it. However, there is a small window for compassionate and compelling circumstances, usually in situations where one child is estranged due to abuse or other extreme legal grounds. But you'll need official documents, police reports, or court records. Serious stuff. Why does Australia use this family balance test? Because migration is a big commitment. Australia wants to make sure that parents coming here permanently aren't going to end up isolated. If most of your family is overseas, the risk of homesickness, lack of local support, or dependency on government services increases. The government also wants to prioritize reuniting parents with families who are already deeply rooted in Australia. More kids here means more support for the parents, socially and financially. It's all about balance. Literally. Common misconceptions, but I'm a citizen. I should be able to sponsor my parents no matter what. We wish it were that simple, but the law's the law. Can't I just say my brother doesn't exist? Only if you have legal proof that the relationship has broken down permanently. Can I bring my parents on a visitor visa and apply for PR later? Not without passing the test first. The test applies before the PR application. Documents you need for the family balance test: proof of your siblings' residency, passports, visas, citizenship certificates, parents' birth certificate, or documents proving legal relationship to all children, statutory declarations if any child is estranged or deceased, evidence of the location of each child, utility bills, leases, employment contracts. Immigration does check these things, so honesty is key. Don't try to hide that sibling in Canada even if they post annoying Facebook updates. Final thoughts. The family balance test might sound a bit bureaucratic, and it is, but it's also a logical way to make sure parents have strong ties to Australia before settling here permanently. If your parents pass it, great. You're on your way to creating multi-generational Aussie memories. If not, it's not the end of the road. There are other visa options even if they're not permanent. And hey, whether it's a barbecue at Bondi or a FaceTime call across oceans, families always find a way to stay connected. But passing the family balance test? That makes it a lot easier to do it in person.